Just to give you a little bit of an overview of this session, we're going to be doing House Hunters Parry Sound. So it brings together off-campus housing support and the support staff from the Parry Sound Campus to guide you through the beginning of your journey at the Parry Sound Campus. So this is specifically put together for those that are attending the Parry Sound Campus. We're going to start with the information on the housing session, and then we're going to finish it off with some information about Parry Sound itself for anybody who is new to the area. So this session is all about how to find a place to live and what to do when you're not in class. So if you have questions about registering for classes, departments or services, there's lots of things that we'll be talking about. And there are other table talk sessions that cover all of your questions that you can register for on the Canadore orientation website, which hopefully someone will share in the chat for you. So if you have any questions that you want to ask, please make sure to submit them using the Q&A function through Zoom. We'll have your questions answered live. And if you want, you can also submit your questions anonymously. So just please remember to keep your questions and comments respectful and appropriate. We are recording this session. It will be posted on the orientation website, so you can rewatch it. So if you miss anything, you can take a look back once it's posted. So to start us off, I am going to pass the mic over to Topanga, where she will be talking about some of our frequently asked questions regarding housing.
Thank you, Laura. Okay, so we'll start off with, why is it important to find housing? Can't I just find something once I arrive in Parry Sound? The sooner you secure housing, the more likely you are to avoid paying for a temporary stay at a hotel, which can be very expensive over time. And as of winter 2024, there is an attestation online when you go to register for classes. The attestation is for you to confirm that you have secured housing. If you have not secured housing, you won't be able to register for classes. Part of being ready to attend classes includes having a place to live. If we look at what are housing options for students who are going to Canadore, in Parry Sound specifically, is there an on-campus housing in Parry Sound? As of right now, there is no on-campus housing available in Parry Sound. So we're encouraging students who are looking for off-campus housing to submit their application on the Canadore website for our home share program, which is where we match students and community members together for short-term rentals. We're also encouraging students to look at websites like Places for Students and Rent Seeker, both of which are updated continuously with new rental opportunities. And then, of course, Facebook Marketplace and Kijiji. Where can I find off-campus housing options in Parry Sound? Your best options are to find off-campus housing in Parry Sound are, of course, Facebook Marketplace and Kijiji. We are building our connections with community members for the home share program. However, volume-wise, there are more options available through Facebook Marketplace and Kijiji. What is a reasonable cost for housing in Parry Sound? With the high demand for housing in Parry Sound, we're seeing an increased cost for housing starting around $800 per month and anywhere to about $2,000 per month for a single room. That isn't to say that you won't find something a bit cheaper, but the majority of available units are within that price range. What is transportation like in Parry Sound, and how does this impact my housing search? As of right now, there is no public transportation available in Parry Sound. Since there is no city transit or bus available, we are recommending students look for housing as close to campus as possible to avoid any extra costs like taxi services to and from classes, if of course students are without a vehicle. I know I've talked a little bit about it, but what is the Canadore Home Share Program? The Home Share Program is a partnership with community members that are looking to rent a bedroom in their home to students. We then review student applications to the program and select who might be a good fit and provide their contact information to the community member. Essentially, we are the in-between, connecting community members with extra space in their homes with students in need of a place to live. And what if I'm having trouble finding a house or a place to live? We'd recommend that you email the housing department at housing.support@canadorecollege.ca, and then we'll be able to assist you in your housing search wherever we can. And if we look at some common rental or housing scams that students should all be aware of, some would include insisting on a written lease agreement, try to meet the landlord face-to-face if possible, avoid cash transactions, protect your confidential information, and ask questions. Always, always ask questions. And what are some tips for avoiding a rental scam? We do have some tips to avoid rental scams outlined under the housing link on the Canadore website, and we strongly encourage all students to review them prior to starting their housing search. The more prepared you are when looking for housing, the more likely you will be able to avoid a rental scam. I do believe that covers all of our questions about housing. Laura, did you want to take it from there for any other questions about Parry Sound?
Yeah, for sure. So if anybody does have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. The next portion of the presentation is about Parry Sound itself and some of the things that you can do here. So I'll get started on that, but please don't hesitate to put any questions about housing in the chat. So I just wanted to go over a little bit of information that we typically have students asking us about. So Parry Sound is a very small town. There's only about 7,000 people here, though there are multiple surrounding communities. So something you might be wondering is how close some of the major city centers are in Ontario. So our other campus is located in North Bay. It's about an hour and 40 minutes driving from Parry Sound to North Bay. Barrie is the closest city center, and it's about an hour and 15 minutes. And a lot of you will probably want to visit Toronto, and we do encourage you to. It's a great place to visit, and it's very large, and it's about 2.5 hours driving as well. So you can visit all of these places by bus as well, but keep in mind that the travel time will be significantly longer. So between the North Bay and Parry Sound campus, it's very different. We're a very small campus here with a very small group of students and a small team. So you'll notice that we don't have some of the amenities on campus that they do in North Bay, but we do have other services in place off campus to assist you. So we have smaller class sizes and facilities. So most of you will be in class with maybe 8 to 15 other people. It's pretty small. We don't have an on-site gym, but we do have a free gym pass to Evolve Fitness, which is a 5-minute drive from the Parry Sound campus. It's located downtown. We don't have an on-site library, but we do have areas where you can sit and enjoy a quiet space to work on your assignments. But you can access the public library as well. It's also downtown. A lot of our amenities are in the same area. And so it's also about 5 minutes from campus. And then all of the essential student services that you would be accessing, like the library services, counseling accommodations, IT support, the campus health center, you still have access to all of those. Some of these services actually come down to Parry Sound to meet with students. Otherwise, you would be able to connect with them virtually or over the phone. Most of them you wouldn't have to attend the North Bay campus for, with the exception of maybe the health center, depending on what your appointment is for. So I just wanted to actually briefly introduce myself formally. So again, I had introduced myself saying my name is Laura. I'm the campus administrator. So right now, there's only the two of us here. So there's me and Natalia. Natalia is our client services representative. So we are the two main people you will be connecting with at the campus if you have any questions, whether that's when you come to campus or if you call or email, we will be the people assisting you. We typically have a very small group of staff here. So we normally have one more person working in our clerk role, and we will have somebody in place by the fall. We just don't right now. So for the programs we have on campus, like I said, it is a pretty small campus. So we typically only have 2 or 3 programs running at one time. So for this fall, we have our second year practical nursing students, and then we have first year personal support worker students. And then in addition to that, we also have dual credit, which is groups of high school students that come in to earn credits for college and high school at the same time. So those are the groups we have on campus this fall. So about Parry Sound, so I mentioned we're about 7,000 residents. That doesn't include the areas around Parry Sound. So we do see, especially in the summer with cottagers, that our population grows. So we're called the Jewel of the 30,000 Islands. If you were to take a helicopter over Parry Sound, you would see that there are thousands of islands, which is why it's called the 30,000 Islands. Again, we're about 2.5 hours north of Toronto. There's a big outdoor, like groups of enthusiasts that like to do outdoor activities. So there's lots of things to do outdoors here. Over the summer, especially, we have festivals and events, and then we obviously have shopping and restaurants. So in Parry Sound, we have lots of trails. So we have some that are in town, and we also have some that are in the surrounding municipalities. So if you like to be outside, walking or hiking, those are a great place to check out. Along one of the fitness paths that we have in town, we have two beaches that run along Georgian Bay. So we're super close to the water. And then there are tons of outdoor activities. So I won't list all of these, but some of the more common ones are snowshoeing, cross country skiing, fishing, and swimming. So a lot of water sports and then a lot of winter sports enjoying the snow. So in addition to some of the outdoorsy things, we do have some things that you can check out in addition to that. So again, we are a pretty small town. We don't have a lot, but we do have the Charles W. Stockey Center for the Performing Arts and the Bobby Orr Hall of Fame. These are in the same building. So the Hall of Fame is a museum that celebrates Bobby Orr, one of Canada's most well-known NHL players, hockey players. And the Stockey Center for the Performing Arts, you can go there to see movies. They also put on plays, they have concerts. It's a really great place to get some culture and see what's going on in Parry Sound. Over the summer months, we have Festival of the Sound, which is a classical music festival where they have jazz, big band, classical music, and it runs for a couple of weeks. It's actually starting this week, which is awesome. Over the summer, we also have the Tuesday Farmers Market. So you can check out lots of different vendors, and there are tons of other farmers market or markets over the summer that are in the different municipalities as well. We do have two bookstores as well. If you're into reading, we have one of the largest used bookstores in Canada that has over 300,000 books. So if you like reading, it's a great place to go. And then downtown, there's lots of clothing stores and retail stores. We do have student discounts, so I would encourage you to check out the Student Perks app to see what student discounts we have in the area. And then in terms of restaurants, we have quite a few small local restaurants. We are starting to see the restaurants starting to expand in terms of what type of cuisine that they offer. We have an Italian restaurant, a Caribbean restaurant, Indian food, Filipino food. So it's starting to expand and become a little bit more interesting for those that are not from Parry Sound. So in terms of services for like health services for students, we unfortunately do not have walk-in clinics at in Parry Sound or any sort of health services on campus, but we do have some other services that you can use that does work if you are domestic or international. So if it's an emergency, I'll skip to the bottom here. If it's an emergency, we do have a hospital called the West Parry Sound Health Center, and this is for emergency and urgent care. So if it's something where it can't wait for you to be seen by a doctor, you would go there. And if you are an international student, you would pay upfront for your for the appointment that you have, and then you would claim it through your insurance. For non-urgent medical appointments, you can access the nurse practitioner-led clinics. Unfortunately, these are not located in the town of Parry Sound, but we do have multiple that are located within about a 30-minute drive of Parry Sound. They accept both domestic and international students. So domestic students would need to bring their health card, and international students would have to show their GuardMe card. We would encourage you to bring your student ID as well. To use the nurse practitioner-led clinics, it is free, but donations are greatly appreciated. You do have to create an appointment to be able to attend. You can't just walk in, but they should be able to get most people in fairly soon, depending on how busy they are. Over the summer, it's always a bit busier. So some other services we have in the community that you might want to look into, and we do provide more information in our actual orientation session about this. But we do have a couple food banks. We have Harvest Share and the Salvation Army Rainbow Country Church. There is also a couple other services that do assist with that. So we also have a food bank on campus. So these are just external services, but I just wanted to mention that. As mentioned earlier, we have the Perry Sound Public Library. They're a great resource where you can access free Wi-Fi, computers. Obviously, you can loan out books and you can use it just as a study space. For travel, we are limited. We have Perry Sound Taxi. It's the only taxi service in the Perry Sound area. They do charge a flat rate of $12 in town, but if you're driving or traveling outside of the town of Perry Sound, the fare does increase. And then if you were wanting to travel to Barrie or Toronto or elsewhere, we do have the Ontario Northland bus that comes through Perry Sound multiple times per day, and they do offer student discounts. And then in terms of places of worship, we do provide a student guide at the beginning of the school year that we provide in our orientation bags. And we have a whole section on places of worship, but you can also find it on the Town of Perry Sound website. We do have a variety of places that you can go for worship or spiritual needs. And that's pretty much it.